All right, all you football maniacs, it's time to talk training. I know we're all locked up. We don't have anywhere to go, so it's like training camp right now, guys. The NFL guys, when they go to training camp, they can't do anything but eat, sleep, and work out. Well, we don't have a lot of other options right now, so time to get to work. So what we put together is a little bit of a home training program that you can do and challenge yourselves with, so that guys like this who are still training to this day don't run you over when the season comes. So we provided you this football conditioning challenge program. What you have here is the table at the top is your big conditioning challenge program. So what we've done is we've divided this into different strength traits: leg strength, upper body strength, core strength, jumping, and general conditioning. You see that there's points given in each of these rows here. What your job is to do is to pick exercises from these lists, and you're going to do as many as you can and accumulate 1,500 points worth of exercise per week. So if you're looking here, if you're doing a squat, an overhead squat, and you do 20 reps, that gives you 10 points. But if you do a squat jump, sitting all the way down and jump all the way up, you do that for only 10 reps, and you'll get 40 points. Again, so you're going to pick any of these exercises, any combination, any order, don't care. It doesn't matter. Maybe you don't have space for one exercise, pick another one. As long as you're moving and as long as you're accumulating 1,500 points per week, that is a good thing, because right now it sounds like not many people are doing too much. We're locked out of playgrounds, even playing in the streets. Some people give us a hard time about. So these things can all be done, for the most part, in the privacy of your own home. Once I go through the video and show you some of these exercises, because some of these things you may not know what they are, I'll come back and I'll show you the workout again, because I've given you some example challenge workouts at the bottom here. A beginner workout, which a lot of you may be there, that'll give you about 240 points. So you got to do that several times a week in order to get your 1,500 points for that week. An intermediate workout, which is a little bit more complex, just one workout will give you 720 points. And an advanced workout, which is 910 points. So you could do 2 of those a week and you're over your 1,500 points. Sounds like every week we're going to be getting together as a team to go over some plays of the week and look at some videotape. At that time, we're going to ask some of you to report in, tell us how your points are, and keep adding up your points, see what number you get to. So let's go look at some video. So we're going to go through the leg strength first. The leg strength is probably the most important trait in a football player. Everybody gets hung up on bench press, right? But it's not the bench press that we're interested in so much as the leg strength. So squat strength, lunge strength. Yes, bench is okay. Bench is kind of important. But in reality is leg strength will dominate you on the line, dominate you. It'll help you sprint faster, jump higher, and run people over way better. So nothing fancy here, folks. I put this all together in about a day. We're kind of turning things over pretty quick here, but it gets the point across. Hey, and you know what? Your parents can join in on this too. So we're going to work through some of the leg strengthening exercises. The first thing we're going to do is the overhead squat. The most important position you have to get in is right here when you're playing football. This is the position you get in to tackle. This is the position you get in to block. This is the position you're going to get in coming off the line. This is a 2-point stance. The reason we put a stick over the head, so you just get any old broomstick from the kitchen, put the stick over your head, because it forces that back to be nice and flat. It keeps that back nice and straight by putting the stick over your head. If your hands are in front, people tend to round their back. And it's critical that you control this back when going into this position, because if your back's round, you're weak. You can get pushed around real easy if your back's round in this 2-point stance position. But I want you to lower your butt down just to a chair for beginners. A lot of people you'll need a chair to sit down to, or else your back will round and you'll fall off balance, that kind of thing. And then you're just going to stand straight up, keeping that stick over your shoulders, stand straight up. What you'll get sometimes is stuff like this. Maybe your stick will go too far behind and your back will round, and you'll lean forward and your knees will come in. That's not a good position. So you imagine if you get hit in that position, if you're trying to hit someone in that position, really weak. So it's important that you get back to the proper position, chest up, straight down, pause to the bench, and up. Good. Nice and slow and controlled. So 10 reps of that, that's your 10 points, starting right from the top of your spreadsheet. Now you can put the stick overhead, take a big step forward, big step back. This is called a stationary lunge. Lowering that knee straight down, pause. So you'll see here that the shin is almost perpendicular to the floor. Knee is just above the floor. Feet are pointing straight ahead. You see the weight's on the heel, not on the toe. Back's nice and flat. There's a line from your hands, through your shoulders, through your hips. That's the position you want to be. And again, teaching you that back control by putting that stick over your head. You're going to do 10 with one leg, 10 with the other. That's 10 points. Now you're just going to pull out a chair, or maybe you have a box or a stool, or you need something sturdy though. Got to be careful, the roof height in your basement sometimes are kind of low. Watch you don't put your head through the wall. So this is called the step up. So you see you're lowering yourself down, touching the floor, and then extending your legs. See, he's putting a little arm action into it, and he's lifting his other knee. That helps you really complete the movement. That's called a step up. 10 reps each leg. That's 10 points. So now we're moving into the 20-point range. So you'll notice that as we move up in points, things get more complicated, a little bit more difficult to do. So now, assuming you know how to do an overhead squat well, now I want you to do the same thing, but now you're going to pause at the bottom, 3, 4, 5 seconds. Go down, control, pause, 2, 3, 4, 5, and up. So that's your pause squat. Just a little bit harder, not that much harder, but it really teaches you that stance. If you ever watched good football players, they're holding that stance sometimes for 10, 15 seconds while they're waiting for a play to start. So you've got to get strong in that bottom position. A lot of you will feel your back starting to round up and your legs start to shake. So you've got to get strong. Just 10 reps of that will give you 20 points. Then we're just going to complicate your lunges a bit. We're going to go to a reverse lunge. So a reverse lunge, your feet are starting together. And then you're just going to step back. If you're in your socks, you can slide that foot back, trying to keep that chest up a little higher. He's leaning forward a little bit more than I like, but it works. And you're just stepping back. You're going to do 10 with one leg, 10 with the other. And that's 20 points. Then coming back to the step-up movement, we can make that more complicated by actually jumping. So instead of just stepping up, now you're going to explode up. Try not to go through the ceiling. He's looking, he's kind of worried. Jumping off that bench. That's a step-up jump. 10 of those each leg is worth 20 points. Now into the 30-point category. Again, we're going to come back to squats. Now we're just going to speed things up. Down as fast as you can, up as fast as you can, 20 squats. And that's worth 30 points. Then to make lunges a little bit more complicated, we're going to do a walking lunge. It's a little bit more difficult. So make sure you have room. You can go up and down a hallway. You put your hands behind your head. The key is keeping that chest up. Big step, lowering that knee down. Walking, 10 reps each leg. That will give you 30 points. And then pull your stool out again or your bench, and this is called a pistol squat. You see the other leg is extended. He's cheating. He put his foot down. That's cheating. Keeping that chest up, arms in front to balance. You're sitting down to the bench and then coming back up. Nice and controlled. Exhale on the way up on those exercises. So that's your 30 points. Now we're going to 40 points. So now we're going to get into some jumps, which we'll talk more about jumps in a little bit, but now you're going to do squat jumps all the way down, jump all the way up, don't go through the ceiling. Do that for 10 reps, that's 40 points. And lunge jumps. So from that lunge position, you're going to jump and switch your legs, hands above your head, hands out in front, whatever helps you balance. You're going to switch the legs. 10 each leg, that's 40 points. And then this last lunge is quite difficult, the side lunge. So you're going to stand, we call it a sliding lunge because you do it in your socks and your foot, let your foot slide out on the hardwood floor. In this case it's plywood, but it works. So you're going to lunge down and reach. Let that foot slide out, and then you're going to slide it back up. So you see you're putting all the weight on this leg. You see all the weight's over this leg, and you're just sliding this leg out, going as low as you can go, keeping both feet pointing straight ahead. You see both feet are pointing in that same direction. Squatting down just above parallel, and then coming back up. It's quite a difficult exercise. Most people only go that height. That's if you can only go that height, you better be doing a lower point score exercise. So you should be doing walking lunges, pistol squats, other exercises. Don't be cheating and getting points for this. So that is your side sliding lunge. Good. So that is your leg strength exercises and the points associated with each. Now let's go to your upper body strength exercises. So often when we talk about upper body, we're talking about pushing and pulling. So everybody thinks of the bench press as a pushing exercise. If you don't have that, then there's a good old friendly push-up. Yeah, I know it seems boring, but guess what? I've seen you guys push up and you're terrible at it. Terrible. Awful. You do these cheaty head bob, neck bob, round back, hip thrown up and down push-ups. Those aren't real push-ups. You got to be strong. Every one of you has got to be able to push people off them, especially you linemen. This is tough for you. You're bigger. Push-ups are hard for you. I get it. So what you're going to do you're going to start with doing some incline push-ups. So find it could be the side of a couch, side of a bed, side of a table. In this case, it's side of a bench. It could be the side of a chair. Just make sure it's anchored so it won't slide. You're going to go in a plank position, nice straight body line, and you're going to lower your chest all the way to the bench. This is what I'm going to say again. You're going to lower that chest all the way down to the bench. You want to be able to push people off you, you got to get strength through the full range of motion. Touching your chest to the bench, pressing all the way up. That is an incline. If it's too hard, go higher. Go to the edge of a table. If it's too easy, then you can go to the next level and do proper strict push-ups. So 10 of these incline push-ups is worth 10 points. So back is always tricky to train at home, but here's a simple exercise a lot of you aren't going to be great at. This is called the Superman. You can lie on a bench or on your bed or on the floor and just lift your legs and hands as high as you can off the floor and just hold for a minute. Some of you won't be able to hold for a minute. You'll gas out. So just holding for 30 seconds, then building it up. If you can do that, that's worth 10 points. So even though it's a simple exercise, it's a very important exercise. Some would call it a core exercise more than a back exercise, but let's call it back for today. And then a little bit of shoulders. Shoulders are tricky as well. So you just got to find some implements. So we have a couple of bricks here. Now they aren't real bricks, but take a couple of bricks. It could be large 2-liter soda bottles. It could be water bottles. It could be stones. Find stones in your yard, paving stones. There's lots of things you could use for resistance. Most of you have really, really weak shoulders, so it doesn't take a lot of work to fatigue you. So these brick shoulder presses, you're going to do higher reps. It's working shoulders and triceps. All you're going to do is hold the bricks out to the side by your ear height. Elbows at the side of your body. You're just going to press it straight over your head, touch to the ceiling. Pretty simple exercise, but you'd be surprised how fatigued you get. 10-pound dumbbells is a lot for a lot of you guys. So that are the 10-point exercises. Now on to the 20-point exercises. So if you're good at push-ups, let's go for 20-point push-ups. Down, chest to floor, hands off the floor, and up. Let's watch this again. Chest to the floor. See the hands come off the floor. Then they grab and they punch the floor. That is called a strict push-up. 10 reps of that is worth 20 points. Now again, because back's tricky, we're going to try and give you something that's not too hard, but again, a lot of you won't be terribly great at. It's called a body row. You've got to move things around. It's a bit difficult in my setting to be able to do that. So all you're going to get is a towel or rope. It could be a skipping rope, and you're going to find something solid to tie it to. Here we have a support beam in the basement. Most of your basements will have this kind of support beam. You could also do it on doorknobs, door frames, or maybe a pillar in your house or outside of your house. You're going to put a towel or rope. The longer it is, the better. The more leverage you can get and the harder it is. You're going to wrap it around. See how he's wrapped it around the post, and now he's gripping onto it. He's then going to plant his feet against the post. You'll see I'm going to pan down. Okay, keeping his body nice and straight. Now he's going to pull his chest to his hands. This is using the back and biceps, strengthening mainly the upper back, but a little bit of lower back as well, just holding that position. So that was your body row. 20 reps of that, 20 points. Then for shoulders, again, get out your bricks. This is a little bit more difficult. It's called a crucifix hold. So you're going to hold the bricks to the side. Just hold it there. Thumbs up. You see the arms are nice and straight. Thumbs are to the air. Posture is nice and tall. You're going to hold that for 30 seconds. And that would give you 20 points. Now let's move up to the 30-point exercises. So now all you need is something that is about 4 to 6 inches high. It could be books, could be bricks, it could be pieces of wood, could be a little step stool that you may have in the kitchen for the little kids. And all you're going to do is a push-up walk. So you're going to step up on the box, 1, 2, 3, 4, down, 1, 2, 3, 4, down. So working our handwork here, folks. Learning how to stabilize with straight arms and then being able to push off that as well. That is your push-up walks. 20 steps is worth 30 points. Now chin-up. Some of you will have chin-up bars at home. If you don't, a lot of you, if you go in your basement, you probably have some kind of beam. So here's an I-beam in our basement. We have a chin-up bar, but I thought I'd show you off an I-beam. Some of you will have, as you go down your stairs, there may be a ledge above your head, edge of the stairs. So this is a flexed arm hang hold, or some people call it a chin-up hold. You're just going to pull yourself up and you're going to hold it for 30 seconds, keeping your chin above the bar. 30 seconds. If you do that, that's worth 30 points. And then again, for shoulders, let's get adventurous here. All you need is a wall. Probably best to do it with your socks on, not your shoes on. If it's a nice painted wall in your house, don't put a hole in your drywall. Parents won't appreciate that. So you can get a parent or a friend to help you get up. You want to kick up to the wall. You'll see he loses his balance right off the get-go. No big deal. You're going to plant your hands about a foot away from the wall, kick up, and you're just going to hold it for 30 seconds. There you go. Kick down. So 30 seconds is worth 30 points. Be safe. If you feel like you're going to collapse, kick off that wall and come down. No head through the floor, please. All right, now moving on to 40 points. Back to the push-up. Down, jump. So it's just a jumping push-up, explosive push-up. You put the clap in because it forces you to be explosive. You don't have to clap, just as long as your hands get off the floor. But you see he's going all the way down. Hold on, I'm slowing down, I'm rewinding. It's going all the way down, chest to the floor, pushing up, getting off the ground. Oh, shoot. That wasn't very good at all. Let's try it again. Pushing up, getting off the ground. It's not that far off the ground, 4 or 6 inches, but keeping your body nice and straight. You're not letting your body do the worm. If your back's bending and you're kicking your hips around, it's too hard. You got to go back to the strict push-ups. Again, 10 of those, 40 points. Then, if you do have a chin-up bar, or a place to do chin-ups, then just do chin-ups. Chin-ups is a phenomenal exercise. what happens though, most people, because they aren't very good at it, they just cheat it up. They'll kick their legs. You can grab in a lot of different grips. We're just going to take what's called a prone grip. It's a pretty easy way to do it. Let your body hang, then all the way down, all the way up, all the way up, all the way down, all the way up. Okay, see how the arms are straight at the bottom? A lot of you will want to only go this far. You want to go all the way down, all the way up. 5 reps. Only 5 reps gets you 40 points, folks. So easy points there if you can do them. And then, if you're really feeling adventurous, here's 40 points right here. Just 1 rep of this is 40 points. So this is called a handstand push-up. So again, kicking up to a wall handstand. You're going to lower yourself down, touch your head to the floor, or just above the floor, and up. Okay, 40, 80, 120. There's 120 points right there. So there you go, folks. That's your upper body strength exercises. Now going on to core. Oh, boring core. Everybody hates training core. But you know what? All of you have terrible core. And if you don't have good core, you're trying to push someone with your legs. You've been doing a lot of push-ups and bench press so you can push people with your arms. Well, guess what connects your legs to your arms? It's your core, folks. It's that region between your pelvis and your rib cage that holds you stable. If that's weak, people can dominate you all day long. So you have to get this strong, and it transfers to all your other strength work as well. So, of course, when doing core, there's the always boring plank. So the plank exercise, you're going to hold for 1 minute for 10 points. You want a nice straight line through your entire body. Shoulders to hips, to knees, to ankles. His hips are a little bit high here. Let's see if he adjusts it. There, that's a little bit better. And just holding. You can do it on your elbows. You can do it on your hands. I like it on the hands because, again, we're football guys, right? We've got to be able to push. So the more times you spend engaging those arms and chest, the stronger you'll be. So that's your plank. 1 minute of that, 10 points. That's crappy. So this is what a lot of you will do. You'll let your hips up. You'll drop your head down. You'll round your back. That's cheating. If you can't do it, then you go to an incline plank. So come up onto a bench like this or the side of a bed and do it on an incline. And I'll still give you those 10 points, but then you got to work your way down to a floor-based plank. Now that's the sway back. You see some people will just let their back take all the load and they'll go sway back. That's not a good plank either. Everything nice and straight. Just like that. So that's your plank. If you really don't like planks, which I don't blame you, planks are pretty boring. A 6-inch leg raise, just as good. So a 6-inch leg raise for 1 minute, you'll see he's looking at his feet. His abdominals are slightly crunched. His feet are just about 6 to 12 inches off the floor. Hands are just tucked under the buttocks a little bit to help stabilize. And you hold that for 1 minute. All right, and then there's your good old friend, the crunches. Just 20 crunches. There's a couple different ways to do it. Hands behind the head, elbows out is preferably. You'll see him crank on his head. You saw him swing his arms a bit. If you want to do it strict, elbows out. Try not to crank on your neck. Just bringing your shoulder blades off the floor. 20 reps, pretty simple. That's worth 10 points. Great, so now on to 20-point core work. The side plank or side bridge is more difficult than the plank. So we're giving it a few more points. You're going to hold this for 30 seconds. Again, looking for that nice straight line. Head through sternum, through crotch, right between the legs, down to the ankles. That's what you're looking for. Again, like to do it on the arm. Strengthen that arm and shoulder while you're at it. A lot of people, they let their hips drop back. They round their shoulders forward. They bend their knees. If you can't do that, then you can drop your bottom knee down and bend your knee at 90 degrees and support a little bit with this. But I recommend just going to an incline as well. You go to an incline, it's a lot easier to control. Work your way back to this plank position. So side plank, 30 seconds, worth 20 points. Then again on your back, if you don't like doing that, you could do some leg raises. So instead of 6-inch hold, now you're going to do leg raises. Tuck the hands under your butt. You're going to bring the legs right up to 90 degrees and down, maintaining a slight crunch, keeping the low back down. That's your leg raise. And then more difficult than a crunch is something like a sitting knee tuck. So you're going to come up on your bum, balance on your bum. So you see how you're maintaining that crunch or that partial sit-up position, and tuck those knees in. 20 of those will give you 20 points. On to the 30-point exercises. So back to your planks. So the plank with arm and leg raise. Pretty difficult exercise. All you have to do is lift your arm up just a couple inches. There you go. Don't need a lot. You see there's only about 6-inch here, a little bit more than 6-inch here. That's all we're looking for. But what's going to happen is your bum's going to wiggle back and forth. You've got to keep everything straight and tight. If your bum's shaking back and forth, then it's too difficult. You got to go back to planks. Or you can work up to this by just doing one arm, only arm or only leg. Only leg raise, so just keeping both hands down and just lifting one leg at a time is easier than arm raise. And then that's easier than both arm and leg raise, which is obviously the most difficult. Again, so with this though, 10 reps each arm and leg, that gives you 30 points. And then let's flip it over. See him losing some stability. His feet are slipping on the floor. So now we're going to flip you over. You're going to do straight leg sit-ups. So spread your legs a little bit wide, hands over your head. You're going to reach up, all the way up, sit all the way up and reach the ceiling. See the low back is coming right off the ground now. If you're feeling adventurous, put a little weight in your hand. Do it with a little extra weight. And then off to the side plank. There's ways you can make this more difficult. Again, with body nice and straight. Now you're going to raise your leg. You see, for this individual, it's even difficult for him. Really tough to stabilize in that position. That was awful. Let's see it again. He's soft and out of shape. Okay, so trying to keep nice straight body, and all you're going to do is raise the outside leg off the ground. Whoa, look at him wobbling around. If you're too wobbly, obviously it's too difficult. You got to go back to a 20-point exercise. All right, now on to the 40-point exercises. A V sit-up, much more difficult than a straight leg sit-up. So V sit-up, you're going to lie with your body straight off the ground. And then you're going to bring your legs and hands and shoulders and back off the ground. You see how he's coming right up onto his buttocks, coming up and touching his toes. Reaching all the way back, all the way up, trying to keep his legs straight. That is a V sit-up with a bit of a cheat on that one. And then another very difficult exercise to do is a V sit rotation. So balancing on your bum, low back's off the ground, hands in front. You're going to slowly rotate your arms back and forth, just slowly, holding that position. You're going to go back and forth 10 times each way, and that gives you 40 points. And then last, back to planks. Pretty difficult exercise here. Some people call them a mountain climber. This is a little different than a mountain climber. You actually bring your knee out to the side, bring your knee to touch your elbow. Try not to let your hips rotate around. That's plank with knee tuck. 20 reps each. That would be 40 points. So there's your core, folks. Now coming back, and last is our jumps. Not a lot of jump progressions here. Most of you know how to jump, but just so you know what the words are to go with the movement. The first thing for 10 points is just 10 repeated vertical jumps. Now the ceiling's quite low here, so he's barely going to jump at all. But we'll see. You get the idea. So you're just going to do a counter movement jump, just like that, but you're going to do it repeated. So you're going to do one right after the other. Jump. A little bit more zip. Come on. Do it repeated. Pretend you care. Good. Now, faster. 1. Oh, jeez. It's lazy. So you do it again and again and again. You just set it up right away. You don't need to pause in between. Then a single leg hop. So single leg hop, you're just going to balance on one leg and you're just going to jump forward and stick it with one leg. Kind of a difficult exercise to do. You'll actually lose balance quite a bit. So you want to do equal amounts with both legs. All right, so all you're going to do is counter movement jump and land on one leg. Whoa. Doesn't seem difficult, but it's a lot harder than it looks. So you're just going to step back and you're going to do it again. Whoa. So 10 of those, each leg gives you 10 points. All right, now let's up the ante a bit. Let's do some repeated broad jump. So the vertical jump's a little easier than a broad jump. So now you're going to repeated jump forward, set it up, jump forward, do that 10 times. That will give you 20 points. We're in the 20-point exercise now. Then you're going to find a line on the floor. You can put a little stick on the floor if you want. And you're going to do a repeated single leg lateral jump. 20 reps of that. Each leg gives you 20 points. Going up to the 30-point exercises. Now all you need is something to jump over. Here I have a paint can with a stick on it. Now we're going to repeated lateral jumps. 20 of those will give you 30 points. And then you could do the same thing on one leg over the same thing, but half the reps, just 10 reps each leg, and that'll also give you 30 points. Pretty hard exercise. I dare you to try it. So that's your 30-point exercises. Finally, for 40 points, repeated stair jumps. Try not to bite the dust on this one. All you need is a flight of stairs, counter movement down, jump up to the third stair. If you can't do it, go to the second stair to start, work your way up. 10 reps of that, that'll give you 40 points. And then, one of the most difficult exercises here is a repeated forward single leg jump. So it'll take them a second to get things out of the way here. So now that single leg jump, you're going to do repeatedly, jumping forward, quickly off the ground. He doesn't have any room here, so it's going to be kind of half-assed. Half effort here. So get your leg and pop, pop. So he actually paused on that one, and initially that's what you'll do, a little pause, but what I want you to do is quickly hit the ground and come off the ground. Pop, pop, pop. There, that's what I want you to do. So 10 of those each leg, that will give you 40 points. So we're all locked inside, so I couldn't go outside, but there's lots of general conditioning you can do as well, and I've given points to that. Assuming you can get outside and find somewhere to run, don't go to a park, you'll get arrested or fined or something, who knows what will happen to you. Out on the streets, maybe you have a big backyard, find a field somewhere to run in. But there's lots of things you can do outside. I've given you a few inside things as well for general conditioning. Under the 10 points for general conditioning, most of you have stairs in your house that usually it's somewhere between 10 and 14 steps. So if you run up and down that 10 times, that's 10 points. But there's even simple things you can do. Running with high knees. Just set a timer, run as fast as you can, as high as you can with high knees in place. They're not going to go anywhere. You're standing in place. And you're going to run with high knees. We're over here now, folks. You do that for 30 seconds, and that's 10 points. Or if you have a skipping rope, usually if your mom lets you or your dad lets you, you can skip inside. If you have a skipping rope, you skip for 1 minute, and we'll call that 10 points as well. So that's your 10-point exercises. These things can be done, for the most part, inside. For 20 points now, burpees. Most people know what a burpee is. Going down into a push-up position, lower your chest to the floor, jump to your feet, jump up in the air, do that 10 times. That's 20 points. I'm giving bonus marks for that because nobody likes to do burpees. I don't think they're that hard, but most people don't like them, so I'm giving you 20 points. You can do 50 jumping jacks as well for 20 points. Or now if you're outside, you can sprint 5 times 10 meters. So do 10-meter sprints 5 times. We'll give you 20 points for that. If you're looking for 30 points, a shuttle run. So this means you're going back and forth continuously, 10 meters. So put a shoe on the ground or pylons 10 meters apart. Just take 10 big steps. And you're going to run 10 meters, touch the line, run back, touch line, run back, touch line. You're going to go back and forth 6 times. That's 30 points. Speed stair step ups, you're just going to, all you need is a single step. For those people who don't have a lot of steps in your house, all you need is a single step, and all you're going to do is step up and down off that step as fast as you can. Up, down, up, down, up, down, up, down. As fast as you can, up and down on one stair. Do that for 30 seconds, 4 sets of that. We'll give you 30 points. If you're outside, you want to work a little bit harder. Do 3 reps of 30 meters, or 3 sets, I guess, of 30-meter sprints. So now you're going to pace out 30 steps. And you're going to sprint that 30 meters as fast as you can, walk back, do it again, walk back, do it again. That would be 30 points. Then for 40 points, you really want to challenge yourself. You might need mom or dad's permission for this one. Car pushing, folks. You've seen sleds being pushed out on the football field, blocking dummies. We don't have that, but everybody's got a car. Find a nice open parking lot with no one around you. Make sure there's not too much dirt on it so your feet don't slip. Put it in neutral and you push it for 20 seconds as hard as you can. Careful where you put your hands. When you're pushing, you want your body nice and straight. Your head's between your elbows. Pushing as hard as you can for 20 seconds. Sometimes you got to be careful where you put your hands. Don't dent mom or dad's car. That would be an awful, awful thing. I take no responsibility for that. But a bumper's good, but most cars, the bumper's too low. If you have a nice pickup truck, the bumper's a good place to put your hands, or top of the tailgate without denting things. So you do that 20 seconds or 20 yards. You do that 5 times. That's up 40 points, and it'll be one of the hardest workouts of this series. If you have a hill nearby that you're allowed to go on, a hill that's about 30 meters long or 30 steps long, even if it's a slight slope, don't care. Run up and down that 5 times. That would be worth 40 points. And then if you really want to bust it out, figure out what 50 meters is, 50 steps, sprint as hard as you can, 50 meters, walk back. Do it again. That's worth 40 points. So there you go, folks. Hopefully you have an idea of what we're looking for. It's a little bit complicated, but I could just put up a workout of the day every day. Some people check it, some people won't. Now we're putting the responsibility on you. And tell your parents this is a little bit of math literacy, because it forces you to do a little multiplication, sometimes a little addition, folks. So maybe you could hand this in for a math class instead of doing that online learning you guys are doing. Try that out. Now at the bottom, if you're having problems with your math, I've already created some programs for you. If you're kind of a beginner, you haven't exercised much, here's your beginner program. You do 3 rounds of it, so you do all the exercises in a row. It's called a circuit. So you're going to do 1 set of overhead squats, 1 set of incline push-ups. You're going to work your way through this. And you're going to do that 3 times through that whole circuit. That gives you 240 points. So you can do that every day of the week. Well, you don't have to do it every day, but you'll have to do it 6 days at least to get your 1,500 points. If you're feeling a little bit more rambunctious and you feel that's way too easy, here's a sample intermediate workout, same format as a circuit. Work yourself through this circuit. Do that 3 rounds. That's a pretty hard circuit right there. And then as a finisher, go and do this all on its own. The stair step-ups, that would be your finisher. So you do that on its own after you've done 3 rounds of this regular circuit. That would give you 700 points. So you only have to do 2 of those in a bit each week, and you get your 1,500 points. And then if you're really feeling tough, there's an advanced workout, same format. Run it in a circuit. Take a break, and then do your finisher. Do some hill runs as a finisher. 910 points. So you would only have to do 1.5 of these workouts a week to get your 1,500 points. So hopefully you have an idea of what we're looking for, folks. It's sure better than doing nothing. Remember, you're in training camp. Sitting around playing video games, watching TV, that's okay for a certain period of time. But if you really want to get your brain working and you're feeling better and you'll sleep better and you'll eat better, then you want to do these kinds of workouts almost every day if you can. You need to be active every day, or else when we get called back to football, if we get called back June 1st, we only get 2 weeks to practice, maybe 3, and it's going to be tough because you haven't been hardly running around at all. So it's really critical that you get out and get some of these workouts in. Anyway, I hope that was helpful for you. I hope you guys start participating. Get out a calendar, mark down each day what your workout was, keep score of your points, and then check in with the coaches each Monday. Let us know how you did. Take care, guys. Work hard.